I didn't try to hello, Slothy Station, Sloth here. So I didn't decided to be like, hey, Nucarnival. I was like, the intro. No, I didn't. So Garu and I put Garu on this bed because we are on strike. We are revolt. We do not like this. We are in our bedrooms going, we do not like this. We are putting our clothes back on. No, we will not stand for this. We are going out into the village. We will not. I want to simultaneously have them go down the steps and get bigger, because that's how it works. We will not stand for this. We are going out on our living room tables. We will not stand for this. In the middle of temple. We will not stand for this. Okay. In the middle of a garden. Out in an area you wouldn't expect. We will not stand for this. Right here. We will not stand for this. Right? In Yakumo's room. Wait a minute. We were already in Yakumo's room, but we're on the bookshelf now. We will not stand for this. You know what? We will not stand for this. So, obviously, we need to not have a character standing. See? He's not even standing anymore. God, always thinking about food, not about important things. Okay? We are even going out to a scorched field for some reason and being like, we won't stand for this. Okay. But seriously though, it's Sloth here. Today we're gonna go over I haven't even gotten to the topic. We're gonna use what little battery power we have left, 19%, oh goodness, to go over event design. Okay, so disclaimer, I do not have a background in event design or computer game design, but I do have a background in numbers, in mathematics, in science, in teaching, in teaching, learning, and understanding, and a lot of other stuff. And then I just have player experience, okay? So take that as you will. But here's my thoughts on event design. So when you design an event, okay, and you're saying this is the goal. The goal is to reach this number here. And when you reach that number, that's your happy number, okay? So let's say, what did I just do? Okay, so let's say that number was something objective. Let's say it was 30,000. Okay, let's compare the two events. Right? Now the players start off at 0. Okay. And they need to go in this direction from 0 to 30,000. Okay. Now, what ends up happening is you give the players a means to accumulate, okay, little by little, right, up to that fill-up gauge, right? And then they hit the 30,000, right? That's one way you do it. And they earn it by farming, and then they fill up the points up, right? Now, what you do is, this game doesn't do it. For some reason, they don't do it this way. But, in a game, right, you look at the amount of time that's available, right? The amount of stamina that is can be gained in that allotted amount of time, right? And I guess what you could do is you look at that and go, okay, is this event before any bonuses are applied. Doable if someone has a 0% multiplier. Okay? The reason why we do 0% is because this is a gacha game. Things are random. Even if someone does 500 pools, okay? And the game's, if you're free to play and you started day one, so far the most pools that you probably have gotten is like 300, okay? So let's say you did 300 pools. There's still a chance, right? Because nothing's guaranteed that you didn't get certain SR units, let alone certain SSR units. Okay, so you can't guarantee that a person's account can have something unless you can, and that's because you gave it to them for sure. The only thing that's been for sure given to us are 3 characters in this game. SR Morve at 2-star. Oh no, 1-star Ascension, but at intimacy level 1. Aster at 2-star Ascension. Here, let me show you the characters. You guys should know them, but for the sake of some music and something different than my memo pad, Morve. Okay, 1-star. You're given to him. He get given at 1 bond, and then Aster. You get no bond, but at 2-star Ascension. Okay. Okay. And then lastly but not least, some people may not realize it, but the game gives you 10 fragments, and those 10 fragments can be used to fuse a 1-star no bond R Yakumo, which, in all honesty, if even only whales would be like, and I guess certain cap stages in which wood is not the preferred element for your healer, for defensive purposes. If I would have known our units were super easy to get stats increased, like, before I was like, SR Yakumo, why didn't I get him? And I was like, why do I have this R Yakumo? Dude, R Yakumo is so good. If it took me, so I know this is a side thing, it took me about 2.5 weeks to farm potential and to get SR Yakumo. Okay, where's my SR? Look at SR Yakumo. This is a tangent. But it's okay. Look at that. 27% potential. 38% potential. Okay. And then his intimacy, unless I was going to spend keys, is only 10%. Okay. So it's not even at a total of 40% for either. Okay. But my R Yakumo, 50%. And I did the first tier, 67% for his attack, which is the one stat you want him to do better, right? So, and then, like, R units aren't too far away from SR units in terms of stats, unless you do the investment. So, like, wow, amazing, awesome. I kind of, wish I knew that as a new player. I would have just invested heavily in my R units and then ignored my SR units, unless I really needed them for more build diversity. Anyway, that's not the point of the video, and my videos are already known for being like little TV show links to begin with. Some people speed me up by like 75%. And they're like, surprisingly, like, it's still comprehensible at time speed. So if that helps you want to have a slots go at a quicker pace than you could, okay, so to almost have the time. But some people listen while they're driving to work or something, and they're in traffic, and so they don't mind. Anyway, whatever helps you out. Okay, I'm the person I am. I'm I can't change me 100%, but I'll be mindful though. So anyway, the point, before we lost the point, was that the game only guarantees that you have 3 units, okay? And if you do your pulls, we've known from experience in previous videos that the first SSR kind of lands in your lap very easily compared to, just statistically, just seems not probable that the first SSR you get into the game gives you an SSR, okay, but it doesn't guarantee which one, right? So the game does that for you. In the White Day event, 30,000 points was what was asked of us, and only Morve and Aster of those 3 units were multiplier units. So could you assume every account has a 20% multiplier? Yeah, sure. So let's do some calculations. Okay. I gotta go to the other one. Alrighty. So White Day 5 and 9 was 72, and I think Hunt 5 was 95. Okay. So 95, and at a 20% multiplier gave us 143. Part of me feels like I was getting 133. Even at a 30% multiplier. That's what I feel like I was getting, if my memory serves. But let's say it was 140. Why not? Okay. So, okay, 140, right? 30,000 points, right? Divided by 140 is about 215. We can't have less than that, so 215 times that they're asking us over 3 weeks to do that fight. It costs 35 stamina. That's how much stamina they're asking us to spend during 21 days of the White Day event. And, yeah. Now there's a certain amount of stamina that we get naturally. Okay. So, remember 7525, remember that. There are 24 hours in a day, right? Times 60 minutes, right? That's how many minutes, right, in a day. But we get a stamina for every, did I divide it by 12? I'm silly. I'm a fool. Every 5 minutes. Okay? This is not including any stamina pots that you might get for your daily. Okay? This is not including any stamina that you would get from levels, because again, you can't assume someone's going to be leveling up, right? You can't guarantee that. You can only go, and you can't guarantee that someone's going to do the dailies, and you can't guarantee that someone's going to remember to use their stamina pots, I guess, okay? Let's go hard. Let's hard on this. Just on natural stamina, 288, okay? Now, it's good to continue doing your dailies for the gold, and your XP, you would minus 100 a day if you did that. But let's assume you invested everything in the event, okay? I said 7525 divided by 288, okay? Now, this is everything, okay? And if I did that, I get 26 days. It takes me 26 days to do this event on Cocoa Beans 10. With about 30% the multiplier, with 30% multiplier, and the highest multiplier was 70%, okay? And so going for the middle, or going for what was guaranteed, right? I only had 20% multiplier, but I gave myself 30 or 40% worth. Still takes more event time. So what's happening is we're only able to get like this much increase every single time, right? And then even if you put 21 dots here, you come up short. And the game expects you to reach here. Now, this was about a 30% multiplier. Can it be argued that if I used my stamina pots, would I be able to get here? Right? So that's where the question of, well, how do I bridge this gap? Stamina pots would help me. Okay, so pots. What else can help me? Level ups. You can't assume level ups, but level ups would help me. Higher multiplier would help me. That's still possible, right? And lastly, but not least, the one that people don't want to do, gems. Okay? But White Day was only 30,000, and you were able to do 1, 2, and 3. So people did 1, 2, or 3, and not 4, mostly. Okay? And we're able to do that without too much use of gems. And so it didn't really teach people, I'm going to be using gems to finish this event. Okay? Now, what has this event done? Well, we're now looking at a 60,000. We doubled it. So now, instead of one line, we're having to do 2 lines, and that's 60,000. Okay, and all the stuff that we like, the prizes that we got, are near the end here of this portion of the event, is now stacked up over here at this last portion of that 60,000. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about game is really restarted on me. Why you restarted me, game? Warning and horror. Okay. Well, I'm talking about okay. Yes. I'm talking about the let's see. So 30,000 points ends us still getting contracts and still getting the second tier of items. We get our first limited event item, the background music, at 39,000. We get a key at 42,000. We get another key at 45,000. So the keys are gated by the points. Some raw crystal. And the crystal core is at 60,000 still. So, a lot of the stuff that you're aiming for is in this green band. Okay. Before, it was in this green band. Okay. So even if you got to the same point as you did last event, you're not going to get all that juicy stuff that you wanted, that you were used to. Because TLDR, real quick note, they just took all the stuff from the last event and they spread it, and they added the gems that we're not longer getting in here, and the keys, and then they sprinkled it over 60,000 points instead of 30,000. Okay, they didn't add another tier of prizes, which, if they did so, wouldn't be too much of an issue. Would make this less of an issue. Still an issue, but less of an issue. Okay, now, in a different video, we said 112 was the base that you get for Ceremony 2. That's 40 stamina. Okay. Now, again, they've done the system where you farm, and we have 21 days, and there's only a certain amount per day that we're able to get, and we're hoping that we can get as close to this 60,000 as possible. But it's going to be harder because, as you saw, Cocoa Beans gave us like 95 or so as a base. And now we have 112 as a base, over 40. Now they did a couple things that make it so that we get more a day than the first event. One, again, they increase the base amount, the total amount that drops from the best stage. Two, what they did was they added these clear conditions, so everyone can get a 30% multi at the very least, okay? But they removed Morve. So you can't guarantee everyone has these units above Aster. So even though we got 30% multiplier, we lost 10% multiplier from like what can be guaranteed on every account. So that's a 20% increase, not a 30% increase, okay? So that means that 40% is what can be expected from every account. And it just so happens to be that my account happens to be an account that, whether through statistics, whether through my own personal decisions, in this case it's both, okay? I have a 40% multiplier account. It's the lowest you can get in this event, okay? Now, that's what can be understood as what can you expect from any account, 40%. Well, if I apply a 40% multiplier to 112 times 1.4, we're getting about 156, okay? And this coincides with the little chart. Oh, this is a different chart. My mistake. Darn it, I have to keep switching through these charts. Okay. So, as you can see here, at 40%, we're at 3.93 efficiency for that. And we're getting 157. Ooh, so it rounds up. Well, that's nice of them. Now, 40% is not in the middle area, okay? But it's what we can know that the players at least have access to. Guaranteed 100%. Every account has access to a 40% clear. Now, if they didn't level up their Aster, that's on them, right? But we can guarantee they at least have the means 100%, okay? Whereas assuming that an account has the other SR units, it's most likely, very probable, but still not something you can guarantee because there's going to be new players to consider that just started during the event. So the chances that they have every SR available to them is not going to be there. They've also are not having those 30 pools eligible from the 1 million or 2 million milestone. So it's going to be a bit rougher for the newer player, like having those SR units. And this is another reason why you want to balance it this way. So 156 was not the answer. It was 157. So 157, okay, is how much we're getting for every 40 stamina. So again, 288 was the amount of stamina we gain naturally every day. Okay, there's 21 days in an event. Now, yes, I do realize that Ceremony 2 wasn't even released. But let's assume it was for every day for the sake of making this kind of bonkers, okay? So this is how much, right? Divided by 40. We can't have less than a full stage. So 152 clears at 156. That is a total of 23,712 from natural stamina at a 40%. So, whoop. Okay, we're like right here. This is a problem. Okay, green is 40% multiplier. Let's see at 100%. 100%. Oh. 224. Let's do the same thing. 224 times is what we get at 100% multi, okay? So 288 times 21 days, okay? We're assuming a really good best case scenario because we're assuming that this stage was available for 3 weeks when it really was available for 2 weeks. So what I'm showing you is not even as good as it actually is. But that's for dramatic effect. So divide it times. What am I? Oh, divided by 40. Okay, and that's times how much? I already forgot. Now 224. If you remembered, good job on your memory. 34,000. So that's whoop. All right, that's at 100% multiplier using natural stamina. Okay. Now 40% is what you can assume every account can achieve within 3 weeks. But that's not even realistic because that stage wasn't even out for the first week. But whatevs. And then 100% is what you're expecting someone who has who's gotten all those characters up to like level 50 or 55, and have 100% multiplier available to them, and then farm ceremony stage for 3 weeks straight using the natural stamina. And even those players cannot finish the rest of the event points. So, again, if we remember, their stamina pots. Okay, let's say people were saving their stamina pots. Okay. Let's say you had saved 3,000 stamina worth of pots. Okay. Can you? Not really. Most players probably, like, if you had like 10 large pots, every large pot's 1,000, and like 20 medium pots. Okay. Every medium pot is 30 points. So let's say you had 1,600 stamina in pots. Okay, you can't assume. Again, I was going off what you can assume, but let's say a person had 100% multi, had this many in pots. Well, divided by 40 times 224. That's not even 10 more thousand. So even if you had all that for pots, that only gets you this much more. This is with pots at 100% multi. Okay? You're still up short. Okay? And then maybe you had some level ups. But if you're all, like I said, this is assuming a level 55 team. So how many level ups can you get? 5. So then you add level ups. Gets you maybe this much more stamina. Well, we're running out of options here because we said increase the multiplier, get stamina from level ups, get stamina from stamina pots. We had 4 options. What was the last options? Oh no, it was gems. Okay. So, what does this all mean? This event was designed such that even an individual that had 100% multiplier and farmed the most efficient stage from day 1, even though the most efficient stage was released on day 8 of the event, managed to use all their natural stamina, okay, didn't waste any, managed to save 1,600 stamina in pots, okay? They had the foresight to do that. And they were already level 55, so they gained about 5 levels. It got stamina from that, okay? That's assuming all of this. Even those players would still need maybe about 15,000 points, or maybe 10 to 15,000 points, and use gems. Okay, so the game designers want you to use gems to stamina refresh to gain all of it. Okay, that's just something that's being told to us from this. The last event was doable if you were able to get everything, okay? But did you see the difference between, if you pause this, go back to the part in the video where I was talking about White Day, compare it to this event. Now, what could have they have done differently? They could have, let's just say, now, let's done. Let's do a new drawing. Let's say, I'm going to show you how Sloth would have designed this event, okay? Let's say I had to design the event and I had to keep the 60,000. For some reason, they were really bent on keeping the 60,000, okay? I would do a few things, okay? I would understand that players are not used to this increased amount of points. So, I would make it possible to get, like, mathematically, this much amount in week 1. And then if you can get that in week 1, right, then players would feel good knowing that, okay, week 2, they could probably get this amount in week 2. Okay? That tends to be that's an older model where part 1, again, is not as efficient as part 2, but you make part 2 very efficient, so that even a player who's new, if they started on the second week, they could probably still finish the event. Okay? So week 1, make it so that players can get this much, and week 2, players could get the rest of the points. And then you have a whole week left, week 3, dedicated, that's downtime for people, because people like to have time between events to kind of relax and do whatever personal goals they have, whether it's build up their gold, build up their experience pots, build up their intimacy, maybe tackle the sorcerer's trials. Okay? So having the event open for 3 weeks is good, but make the event possible to be completed within 2 weeks without spending gems. So that's what I would do. Again, week 1, and then week 2. Okay? And again, if week 2 I was able to do this much, then that means a person starting with halfway of the event time left over would still be able to finish the entire event, right? And that's good. That means that your new players that just started, they might be able to do all this and feel good about completing, right? You want your community to complete your event, okay? You don't want to make it so that it's like, oh, only the top 10% complete this event, and if you completed the event, you're in the cool club because that means you can complete the event. You want your whole community to complete the event, right? Like, that's what you want to do, okay? So that's one thing. The amount of points that you can get in terms of efficiency, you would design it so that it was able to be achieved by your player base, okay? Now that's one way, okay? So that's one model. Here, we'll do a few different models. Week 1, and then in week 2, all right, done. That's not even assuming stamina pots. That is the base multiplier, okay? And then, that doesn't even factor multiplier. And you know why? Because multipliers, they say bonuses. And when people hear the word bonus, they go, okay, it's an extra. It's not necessary, but it makes it faster. And some people value time, so they want things to go faster. So they invest in these things, that the units and pooling to make it go faster, but it's not necessary, right? In this game, so far the events have been designed so they are kind of necessary in a way, right? And someone could argue, well, you don't have to get the units, you can use gems. But like using gems is almost like pooling anyway, and some people prefer to pool rather than to use gems on stamina. That's how much taboo some people have. Like, don't you ever use the gems for pool? You're mad? And there's other players who are on the opposite side. What? You use your gems to use for pools? Are you mad? It's like the same conversation, but different ways, okay? It's just player preference and difference on player values, that's all. So you want it to, to design it so that in green, right? Here, let's go back. I guess I said I was done, but was I done? And then let's say if you had the multipliers, like 100% multi, that means your 100%ers in week 1, they got this much. Okay, and in week 2, like they were able to complete this in week 2, but maybe on the 3rd or 4th day of week 2. Okay, the orange is what happens when you get the multiplier, right? It quickens your way to the ending line, right? But was it necessary to complete the event? No, it just feels good. Okay, so I guess we'll keep that there. Okay, so that's the event design they have currently, and that's the event design that I suggest. But what's another way? Well, what's another way? What else could we do? Again, another way is you don't double the points. You keep the old model, and then you just do the thing where, like, you can do this, like, week 1, right here, or week 2. Now, the old model was not like that. I don't know why I said done. Oh my gosh, that was a horrible graph. The old model, I don't know why I'm redoing the old model, because I just did it not too long ago. But the old model was 30K. Week 1, you got this much. Week 2, you got that much. And week 3, you got that much. Okay? And it was doable up to like here for people without any multipliers. And then you had multipliers and stats, and you got, right? That was the old model. But what are some other ways other than the old model is what we're saying. Let's say you get people used to this new number by adding another way to get vessels. Remember, so far vessels were only got by farming. Okay, so you can add new ways to get vessels. Here's 2 ways. 1, exploration, right? Quest will now drop vessels or the event points, right? Every time you do an exploration, in addition to your the items that you get from exploration, you get vessels. Okay, and you increase the amount of vessels that are gained. Another way is the legend stages give a one-time vessel reward, okay, of like a lot, right? You completed a legend stage, congratulations, here's your one-time 5,000 points. Well, you do that for 3 legend stages, that's 15,000 points. Now, in a previous video, I was suggesting maybe they do 10,000 points a legend stage. Or maybe it's like 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 for completing legend stage 1, 2, and 3 respectively. That adds up to 30,000. And then that way, this red here I have, the exploration class and the legend, right? If you add 30,000 more points needed, then you should add 30,000 more points worth of vessels through additional sources, right? This section, right? Then you can keep your old model, right, of, well, this is how much you farm per day, and the average player gets around here. But if you had higher multiplier and level ups and stamina pots, you can do that, or use gems, right? Again, so what this does is you added another layer to the event, right? You added more points, but what you're doing is you're slowly teaching your community, okay, now here are 2 new ways that you're going to get vessels, and we want you to complete the legend stages, but they're not farm stages anymore. They're just stages to just get the points. And we want you to explore, because exploring helps your account anyway, but now we're just giving you another bonus to your explore. Okay? And then you keep the old model of, well, make sure you farm every day, the best multiplier you can. And I do think that what they should change is this orange area, right? What I would do is I would make sure that this entire area was green, okay? Maybe even overlap with this red area, so that, because what if some people don't explore well or as much? So maybe, again, when it comes to design, you want to design it in favor of the players. You want to give them the best shot. So maybe what the design is this, that if you could farm this event, right, you can farm all the way up to here. The legend stages give you this amount, so this is the legend, right? And then the exploration just helps you, this just gives you stuff, so it can only make you go faster to the 60k. Okay, so now you've added, in addition to increasing your stamina, you're adding more sources of vessels. And because you added more sources, you can get to the end quicker. And this is independent from you having units for multipliers, right? If it's a one-time off prize for legend, you just needed to clear the stage. So that means that you could have accounts that have all these different kinds of builds, which is what you're wanting, right? And maybe, yeah, certain builds, like the event units, you kind of favor one or two of the battles for those units, because you want people to pool for them, right? And then you see how they're used, right? And learn their unit. That's another reason, not just money, right? You layer it, guys. Then those people don't need, it's not multiplier based. You get points for that. Exploration, you don't need multiplier units for that. You get points for it. But maybe you can make it so that in exploration, you code it so that maybe you get more vessels because you use those units. I don't know, right? So that's how I would design another way of doing it. Okay? So here's what the game's currently doing. Here's one way of doing it, by increasing efficiency, right? And then having multiplier units only gets you to the end quicker, but it was still manageable and doable and realistic to do from the get-go. And multiplier units were just bonuses and ways to get there faster. And then another design in which, and I didn't even add that multiplier units also get you there faster. So not only would you have exploration getting you there quicker, but multipliers getting you there quicker, okay? And then the legend stage gives you a fat chunk, okay? So that's how I would really do it, okay? All right. So yeah, this is my suggestion for what they could be doing with their event design that doesn't frustrate players. And in these two designs here, what you don't see is you don't see forced gem usage. Okay. So what we need is no forced gem use. Yes, the game gives you gems, but you didn't sufficiently educate your player base that gems are going to be needed for these events. You don't go, by the way, you're going to need gems to finish the event. In your first event, you made it possible to do it without that. So you can't do it in the second event like that. What you're doing is you're pulling a fast one. That's switch. You just switch baited your community. And there's a lot of individuals out there that are frustrated, that love your game, but this is what happens, is that people play this game because people want to have a part in their life, even a small part, that's nice and enjoyable and fun. That's why people play the games. In addition to being maybe a little naughty and go, ooh, okay? But let's say someone is having a hard day, okay? Maybe their work day's hard. Maybe their family life is hard. Maybe there's a stressful situation. I mean, COVID is not over for some people. Okay? And this new game that they had a lot of fun with, all of a sudden is turning stressful and frustrated. Well, these people under normal circumstances would be like, oh, this is frustrating, and continue playing. But now these people are like frustrated already. They're stressed already. They're playing this game and it's frustrating and stressful. They might quit. They might quit. They might quit. They might quit. Okay. Now, I happen not to be one of those people, but I empathize heavily for those people, and I want this game to do well. And so, what's happening is that this gem usage, this force is getting out of hand. Okay. Do not design your game this way. It does not work. What it does is it will lower your player retention. And even your whales don't want to do this. Okay? Just because I'm a free-to-play player doesn't mean I've not spent a lot of money in other games. I spend money in other games on cosmetics and on games in which I don't get a clear advantage over my opponents because I like to play on a playing field that's level. So I'll get skins, I'll get artwork, I'll get hats. Okay. It's amazing how much money I've spent on things just to make sure my character doesn't have a shirt. I spent in a game in which the character had clothing, and I was like, I will spend $50 to make sure this person has no shirt on. And the character model for that was like, there's instances in the game where it switches to no shirt, right? And like, I paid for something that I already had access to. I just wanted access to it 100% of the time. I paid for the game to remove an option. So I understand in a way on how players can think. Not every player, I'm not going to say I know everything, but I understand it. And so no forced gem usage. It's not right. It doesn't feel good. Don't do it. Okay? And your design has forced gem usage. My two designs that I offer do not have forced gem usage. And what's healthy for the game is, what do gems help a player do? This is one thing that I really thought was amazing about the game when I did my power level. If you don't know, I have a power level guide out there that was during White Day event, okay? So maybe not as relevant, but it's possible in 3 days, I was able, at the time, using 69 gem refreshes. That's right, it took 69 of them. Go figs, right? Natural stamina, 69 gem refreshes, all the stamina you get from levels in the pots they're in the quest, okay? It was possible to go from level 1 to level 42 and clear all the content and the event, the 30k points from the event, because those gem refreshers were mostly used to farm the event. That's all capable, right? So what did I learn? Well, what I learned was that gems are a very good resource if you want to catch up. Okay? Now, gems is equal to catching up. Now, I like this thought way better than used as a forced way. Is no good. No bueno. Is no. Okay? Don't use it as a forced way. Gems being used to catch up. Okay? So, because you eliminate gems as being mandatory in your events to complete the event, now the only means that the gems are for that event is to play catch up. So, even though in this model, right, it's doable, right, I could use gems to expedite the process, right? I can use gems here and as a third arrow to expedite the process. Done. Okay? Maybe I should put gems. And now, it's not a good thing, right, that I'm using gems, because people don't want to use their gems. And it's not a bad thing, so that's why gems are no longer the red. Actually, legend's not a bad thing either, but it was just a color choice I used. So, but now, gems is neutral. Okay? It's just an option. It's there, right? It's not necessary. No forced gem use? Bad. Gems as catch-up? Okay. You know which meme I'm talking about. Okay. So, alrighty. So, you guys, I don't know how long you guys have been listening for without music, without something. Oh, music. Ooh, what did I finish? Ooh, a daily? Yes, I will. Okay. Alright. I've been talking maybe for half an hour on event design, but part 2, let's rate the event. I'm already ready to rate the event. Well, actually, no, I can't because I haven't finished the story. I'll do my rating on the event, I guess when I finish the story, because that's the only thing left for me to experience in this event is the rest of the story, and that requires more farming. All right, well, this is Sloth, and remember, if a Sloth can think about ways to make an event better designed, so can you. All right, let's please, Nucarnival peoples, hopefully you watch my videos, and if you do, please take this to heart. Okay, I like this game a lot. A lot of people do. It's their bastion from sometimes in their day, and right now it feels like someone locked the door on their bastion and they have to instead go through the front door. They have to climb through the back and in through the back window, and it's a lot of work, and no one wanted that. All right, bye.